G'day legends, g'day superstars. We are back for season 2023. It is the Lace Out podcast with your hosts, the great man, Jamie the J-Dog Wallis is back for season number 6 and the 377-game superstar of the East Keilor Football Club. Yours truly, Christopher Pepper. We have been pumped. We have been excited all day. I've been jacked out of my mind coffee-wise. Haven't been able to sit still because I knew that we would be getting online, recording our first main episode for the year. And I tell you what, it is going to be a belter of a season, Lace Out style. It's great to have the great man with me, Jamie Wallis, as always, and I'll get onto him. But I tell you what, listeners, it has been an off-season for the ages. It has been an on-season for the ages, and I can't wait to get stuck into it. And there's only one person I can get stuck into it, and you know him as the great man. I know him as the J-Dog. He is the formerly ranked number 9 Iron Man in his age group. Jamie Wallis, welcome to season 6 of Lace Out. It's great to have you back on the airwaves.
Peps, thank you. Good to see you again. I know we see each other, but anyway, good to see you on this platform again. And listeners, good to have you listen to us, and watchers, good to see you are watching us as well. So I can't wait for 2023. It's going to be a good season, Peps. It's going to be a good season.
I was listening to the radio a bit, and we'll get into all the formalities very shortly.
All the boring shit.
All the boring, the boring footy stuff. But it's been really cool to see not just the commentators, but there is a bit of feeling going into this. Like normally there's a round one, who's going to win, who's going to set it up. But really, you look at the first set of games this week, there's blockbusters Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There are games that people are literally going, if they don't win this, it's going to blow their season out. If they do win this, are they premiership contenders? The usual bullshit that happens 3 days before the first game is rocking out. But over the last couple of seasons, there hasn't been much feeling out there for us to be, who's going to, when's the game going to start? When are we going to get into
stuff to everyone.
There's a bit of feeling. As Bruce Lee would say, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're feeling.
Well, I was in the city today. I was in the home of football today.
How was it, J-Dog?
Very busy. So if that's just an indication of what crowds we could be expecting this year, because now we've done away with the ticketing system. We've done away with the seating system. We've done away with all that stuff. You can just walk up to a gate now this season, buy a ticket for $20, get slugged, $25 for a beer, $65 for a hamburger, $95 for chips, and you've had yourself a lovely $200 day to watch football.
What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for?
A $27 ticket and a $200, and that's just for you. Imagine if you took the kids. Woo! A $48 hat. $220 jacket. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. You can't even have a kick after full time anymore, but apparently that's changed. Oh, and the little leaguers, they don't even dress up as little leaguers anymore, and they don't even play the full length of the ground. Football, it's great to be back. It's great to be back. And for the people who haven't joined us before, we are Lace Out. This is our 6th season on the airways. If you're listening to us for the first time on your favourite podcast application, or you're watching us live on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. Mate, all I can say is it is going to be a bumper year. We've got all the favourites back. All the usual segments are going to be there, and we'll go through those segments as we go through this episode. And look, it is the first episode. Before we get into it, we're going to ease ourselves into it. But before we do so, I want to find out from you, big fella.
Yes.
What was the off-season like? Highlights of your off-season. We had one together back in October, watching 2 of the greatest bands ever to grace the beautiful Margaret Court Arena.
He's a steel ringing.
And Airborne. Oh, how was it? What a night.
It was a good night. Peps, off-season for me, you know what? It's actually been a pretty quiet one for me in the off-season. I sort of got through the October obviously was a good night hanging out with you, seeing Airborne and Steel Panther. Christmas rolled around, you get fat, did a lot of Ks riding my bike, and then I watched the Australian cricket team and the netball team have their political battles about people and sponsorships and captains and sackings and failed tours and Peps football. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves at internal trial games and people have to give a shit about white versus black and yellow skins versus no skins and skins and jumpers. And then we're back in round one.
We're back.
It happens
baby.
quick.
We're back. Oh, mate, I'm exactly the same. Went to the Panther with you. Got COVID out of that concert. That was my first COVID experience.
Right,
I got COVID.
COVID and an STD.
Yeah, and that was from all the Chase Atlantic people in the concert next door. Once again, same sort of thing, karateing my head off, absolutely going berserk with that. Dropped a few kilos. I've been on a bit of a eating plan just to drop a few.
You're looking trim.
Yeah, I've lost a couple. I just got to try and just a few more. Just got to get lean to treat them keen.
Yeah, you got a good thin sun glasses frame going on these days.
New glasses to make everybody watching this now beautiful glasses.
Because you're rolling with the grandma ones last year. We got comments you were rolling with the grandma specs last year.
Yeah, and I got the same grandma specs but in blue. So I've just once I get the blue rinse, I'll be making that up as well. Kicking, and I tell you what, sport over the Aussie cricket tour in Australia with South Africa and who was the other one?
West Indies, wasn't it?
West Indies, boring.
They
go over to India. Tell me that should not be a 5-test series right now. From now on, Australia, India has to go 5 tests.
I want every centre bounce or every centre square to look like an Indian test pitch.
Oh, would
be great.
Imagine the turn, the umpires would get off there. Oh, no, they wouldn't.
Imagine umpires complaining.
There wouldn't be any turn getting off a throw up, would there?
No, I agree.
And then things started just coming back. We've got a couple of our old favourites are here. Charlie Keegan's already on there. Buzz, St Kilda mustn't have lost yet because Buzz has joined us already on a Tuesday. We'll give it a week. And then Jamie, I don't know if you know about this. I've had 3 big moments in my life, right? My kids being born, in no particular order, kids being born, getting married, and watching the D's play. And also representing
2 kids. You're going to bundle the 2 kids as a one event.
All right, I've had 4 big moments. The 2 kids individually, getting married.
Just going to chalk this down for Ralsy right now.
Had Melbourne winning the flag, which I saw, not live, but there's also the other one there playing 377 games for the Great East Guild Football Club.
That's of course
one of the highlights. Plenty of memorabilia behind me if you're
cheap Jimmy Cans for life.
Jimmy Cans, $5 Jimmy Cans can't go wrong. But J-Dog, I had probably one of the greatest moments ever. Mm-hmm. And it happened a few weeks ago. And for the people who didn't know about this, I got a message from one of our favourites. She's been following us for years. Good old Tori Williams joined us and said, Peps, would you like to go somewhere? I said, where would you like to go? And I got a message that came through. And it basically said, you're going to join me for this, which was me with the Melbourne Football Club in the team photo. Have a look at that. Do you reckon I'm proud as punch? That is probably the greatest moment for those 43 players.
Can you zoom in?
I can't zoom in, but I'll put it on the Facebook page. But if you could, you could hear the grin in my face right now.
Tori looks great. You look terrible.
She looked amazing. I was just like,
it's
not even my scarf. I had to borrow someone's scarf.
You look like a putz.
I am a big putz, but I'm happy to be a putz because that was
look at you trying to set up next to
the Gorney.
Yeah, you look ridiculous.
Do you notice how wide I look compared to Gorney? Well, my shoulders are massive compared to his. But that was just an awesome day. I reckon they had taken 200 of those. By the end of the day, the guys sitting on the floor were just like cooked because they had to bend their knees, bend their knees. But absolutely, I'm forever in her debt for that there. So for everybody who hasn't seen it, who's just joined on the chat now, there's me again with the Melbourne Football Club. Now, if you want a copy of that print, you can download it off the Facebook page after the show tonight, or I can organise you a signed 6x4, not by any of the players, but by me, if you're into that sort of thing too.
What's the pose you got going on there, Pep? You're sort of like...
Oh, mate, I was just
looking like this. You're like an idiot.
The only thing that was missing was the fists underneath the biceps footy pose. That was the only thing missing. I was trying to be
tragic.
It's tragic, and you know what? Everybody's jealous. Everybody's jealous. So, no, it was. Thank you to the Melbourne Football Club for organising that with all the sponsors because Tory sponsors the magnificent Lockie Hunter, who joined us in the trade period. So it's absolutely awesome to have you back. Fang is back for another season, so don't walk into a headwind, Fang, or we're going to hear through your teeth as well. Alrighty. I'm not charging anything to most people for signage, Buzz, but I will only charge you $5. Maybe you buy a Melbourne membership and we'll look after you. Alrighty. So there has been a bit of work going around the AFL since we've been off, and there's been some stories going on in the back. So as per normal, what I wanted to do is I wanted to start off. Now, for people who don't listen to us, we always have the newsman, the best newsman in the business. His name is Jamie the J-Dog Wallis. And for this, we're simply going to go around the grounds. And I'm going to do this for him, but we can't do it without his theme music. So here we go.
Best show back, a bit rusty. Have we got it playing? I can't hear it anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right, J-Dog. Well, because I prepared everything for the show tonight, you just take a back seat.
I will.
But I'd love for you to put your opinion in on this. So there's been a couple of things that have rolled out since the AFL season finished. And a lot of the big stories have come out, I would say, in the last day or so. The first one being the AFL concussion lawsuit. Now, I'm not too sure if anybody knows much about this, but there was a launch today of an of a lawsuit by Max Rook. He's the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit regarding concussion in the AFL, and not just the concussions, but also the actions of going back onto the field as well too. And a good point was made that, you know, if a player does an ACL and he had to then go back onto the ground, there'd be an absolute furor by everybody. How can they do that? Why would they do it? It's a disgrace, etc. But the same thing, because the injury can't be seen, they've put them back out. And we've heard stories where, you know, Sean Smith's gone out and got completely knocked out in a game and then went back out. Didn't even remember that he even played that day. So there's a massive lawsuit going on, being issued by the AFL. There's other little ones going on as well. Picken, who played for the Western Bulldogs, has had one previously, and a few other ones floating through as well too. So this is going to be a massive story. The AFL have sort of counted that they're going to be spending around about $25 million into researching, you know, the effects of concussion and studies, etc. as well too. But I think this one's been around for quite a while. We've been hearing about it in the news for quite a while, but it actually went live pretty much, I think it was today, that, yep, it has actually been served. And this could be a multi-million dollar payout by the AFL and may set the standards for issues coming up in the near future. Thoughts, big fella? Where do you sit on it?
I don't know. Look, I go, you know what you're getting into with AFL. You know, the risk reward. It's you get paid high. You know the risk involved with the sport. It is, as you've said last year and probably the last 6 seasons, it's a combative sport. It is what it is. What's really hard, and it's really hard for doctors to make that conclusion, is some players feel no effect. Yep. Some players feel the effects. So some players may have a concussion but have no side effects at all. I'm ready to go again. On, they do the test, they pass the test, or that sort of thing. That sort of thing happens. Yep. I find it. I don't know. I'll find it hard for the players to prove that the club acted negligent, based on it seems like really hard things to determine if someone should be taken off or not. Yeah, and I think that's where it's the confusing bit, because they can only tell what damage has occurred until after you've died. And we know hindsight, there's been players who have unfortunately passed away, whether they've taken their own life or they've natural causes, etc. People like Polly Farmer, Danny Frawley, Shane Tuck, Murray Wiedemann, all suffered some sort of chronic traumatic encephalopathy when they died, or we just call it CTE, damage to the brain as well. And that's not to say players these days. Now, you'd say in the last probably 5 to 10 years it's been better. But before that, you copped a knock and you were out. The smelling salts would be, shoved up the schnoz and you'd be back out to play again. 60-odd players have put their name towards this.
It is going to be big, and it is going to be playing out in the courts over time. And we can't really say much about it now because we don't know where it's going to go. But for it to be lodged and to get the ball rolling is huge. It is huge. And it's the first sign that, yes, the AFL may have to be held accountable for, unfortunately, clubs, not entirely all the time, doing the wrong thing by the players. And I think that's the angle that they're looking for. But I do agree. You go out to play. If you get hurt, you get hurt.
Yeah. Can you imagine a player losing? And once again, going back to health, safety, risk, blah, 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 blah. But players stepping out for 4 weeks due to a concussion. Like, is that what we're going to get used to? Maybe we have to get used to that. But that player may not have any signs or symptoms or any lingering effects from just the quick snap of a concussion, quick whack of the head, whatever it is. But because they were taken off of the protocol, that's a 4-week potentially missing out on football. I don't know. I don't know. A layman like me kind of goes, there has to be something, but I don't know what it is. So
it's a tough one too, J-Dog, because you have a look at the NRL. Their concussion protocol is like super strict. And every time that there's a virtual strike to the head, strike to the face, they replay it. And even if there's no symptoms whatsoever, if the doctor feels that there's been a strike, they're literally off and potentially maybe out for the next week as well too. I'm not fully down with the NRL rules. But some of them have been a clip where there's no trauma, nothing that you can see. The person's completely with it, but because they have to send them off for a head check, a head welfare check.
Do we have to do like retrograding of incidents in games? Like, 2 weeks later, the player's got signs or symptoms of a concussion. 2 weeks ago, Peps gave Jamie a nice little ear massage going for a ball in a game 2 weeks ago. We should maybe retrograde their suspension
you can't
for that now.
You can't do that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just interested to see where it all goes. That's all.
I'm hearing you, brother. I'm hearing you. It is not an easy one as well to sort of figure out. Hey, Craigie Jones, I had a big chat with him about the Portress this year and about how Port Adelaide are going to go. So good to have him back on board as well too. So remember, everybody, tell your friends about us. Send a link. After this is finished, say, listen, stuff all those professional podcasts out there. This is one that's real, just like us. Listen to it. It's Lace Out. It's how you want your footy. So that's probably the big one. And you wouldn't believe it, Jamie. It wouldn't be another AFL season if there weren't rule changes, would there? It wouldn't be another season unless the AFL decided to go out and make some changes. So I thought I'd give everybody a little bit of a heads up about how these changes have occurred, all right? Because you're going to see them, and I want to make sure you're aware of them. So standing the mark. Players can no longer momentarily stand the mark after losing a marking contest or giving away a free kick and then leave the mark and or protected area. So basically, you stand there, you see him run and run away. You used to be able to do that unless someone takes your spot. If you man the mark, you're manning the mark. You can't run off. Too bad, too sad. If they do that, 50 metres straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Don't mind that one?
No, don't mind it.
Awesome. The next one is milking, a 50-metre penalty on the mark. The stand rule requiring players to hold their position on the mark until play on is called was already a source of frustration. We know that. But previously, players could take a mark, almost feign the handball, and to try and get the player off the mark to move off that stand position to generate a 50-metre penalty in their favour. Now, what the AFL has decided, they've tightened up the rule, and if the player on the mark will not be penalised, and the officiating umpire will reset the mark.
Tick.
I agree with it. What I also think that they should do, as soon as anybody goes off the line, play on.
Yep,
just call it play on. Simple. Simples. All right. Last one, and it's probably the least one of this, but players lining up for a goal used to get a 15 to 25 second warning from umpires. Now they're only going to be giving a warning at 25 seconds. So 5 seconds to go, bang, that's it. Out of there.
Isn't there an extra umpire on the field this year as well, or is that just a trial thing?
No, that's legit as well too. So now there's 4 umpires. So we've got more maggots to yell at.
50-50, 2 in the centre. Yep.
Easy. So you got 2 controlling, 1 at each end.
Mm-hmm.
Should work perfectly. But once again, should is the most dangerous word in AFL circles. So that is the name of the game when it comes to Beautiful. Joel Michael, Joel Michael, that equates to Ben Brown covering 380 minutes in 5 seconds. Good to see you back, Joel. Been working late on the tours. He works hard for his money, so hard for it, mummy, and it's good to see him back. Yeah, Ben Brown, he is looking trim with that sexy new haircut as well too. Hey, J-Dog, you know what it's time for?
What's that?
It's time to spin the magnets. Yes, I have got magnets planned, everybody. So if you don't know what we do, we spin the magnets where we look at the highlights and the lowlights of the previous week. In this case, I'm just going to be going through a couple of my highlights and lowlights for just leading into the season. All right. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the bare ones. And to do that, there's only one person and one person only that we can talk to about this one. And we know it is the great Ron Barassi. And he's back. And let's just get into it. I was almost going to change that one, J-Dog, to the one where he says, you give me possessions and I'll shut up. But I can't. I like the weakest piss. All right. Couple of things. The Hawthorn saga. Now, the Hawthorn saga dragging on with no end in sight. We know the one about apparently racism with players from Clarkson and from Fagan from Brisbane. Unfortunately, there's just no end in sight. I don't know how long it's going to go for. I think the coaches are over it. I think the clubs are over it. I think we're all over it as well too. And I think it's just going to be one of those things. I think even the players that have brought this stuff up again.
Can you just give me like a Twitter update on what the hell we're talking about? Are we still rolling on from all the other stuff?
Yeah, the Hawthorn saga. So all that sort of stuff is still going. It's sort of gone a little bit silent.
Mid last year, I feel like.
I know, but it still hasn't been resolved. And they don't know when it's going to be resolved.
Okay. Because I did see the Carrows having a crack at Clark. I'm like, this is the start of the footy season.
Footy season's back,
like footy season.
Yeah, well, what has she done for the last couple of years since Clarko hasn't been there? Unbelievable. So that was a bit of a sad spot, all right? Players being nuffies with mobile phones. Okay, look, listen. If you ever go into a cubicle, I don't know about you, J-Dog, I don't whip my phone out.
No.
And just start recording what I'm doing.
All right. I do.
I don't actually go into toilet cubicles at all. I hold it because I don't want my face going on the socials. It's simple as that. I don't want me going viral. But Jack Ginnivan, just another example of when they were unfortunately, it was some other dickhead having the phone over the toilet cubicle doing it. But seriously, just don't go and do that sort of stuff in a public place. You're setting yourself up for failure. All right, so he's going to miss the first 2 rounds of the AFL season in a bumper blockbuster this Friday night. Thoughts?
It's his first time, so mistakes happen. Peps. He's only done it. He's a
That's his second biggest mistake. Remember, Cornsey said that him getting on the GoPro was probably the first. All right, so he's upgraded.
No, look, whatever.
And I must say, the MCG or the MCC,
yeah,
holding concerts a couple of weeks out before the season kicks off. Could we potentially see Death Valley Mark II?
I
don't know if you've seen what the MCG. It looks great.
Looks
underneath.
Underneath, it could be terrible.
It is just going to see. You wait to see the first big chunk. That chunk will probably be sold as memorabilia.
First sliding knee mark would just be.
It'll take out a sheet. It'll take like a 3 by 1 meter sheet of turf out. It'll be like a bib. If he goes forward and takes it on his chest, it'll be like a bib rolling down his jaw. Look, it's absolutely unbelievable.
I don't know, Peps. I am going to leave it up to the army down there at the MCG to get it looking and playing amazing. So I'm going to go good for it. I didn't go to Ed Sheeran. Did you go to Ed Sheeran, Peps? No? None of the kids want to go to Ed Sheeran?
I've got enough redhead mates to save myself a couple $100. Ed Sheeran, he's not my cup of tea. Like I said, I'm more of the Panther, Airborne, and potentially Megadeth in a week or two.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into. Like you. Not a Sheeran man.
No, well, it is what it is.
The only Shearer that I liked was Bob Shearer, the golfer. He was handy with his sticks.
No, I don't even know who that is. Probably someone though. All right. So yeah, no, I got no issue. No issue. I mean, they're dropping pitches and then play them on a week or two later. That's fine.
Yeah, but you're not exactly trying to grip your feet on a drop-in pitch, are you?
That's
It's
true.
a bit
Maybe
different. It's a bit
maybe they're
different.
going to get the Indian grounds
The
people
Indian
over.
curators? Well, I can even throw the curator of the fourth day test, the fourth test pitch. He should be he should get dragged as well too and never prepare a pitch again. Mind you, I said that after the first test, and the next two were absolute rippers. So it was almost, if they could have just stretched it to maybe 4 days, it
I
would
know
have
it's
been
a footy
all right.
podcast, but I've got no issue with 3-day tests. I love seeing 10, 12 wickets a day.
Oh, I love bowlers getting 12ers.
Yeah, it's great.
I love batsmen just getting bamboozled and finally not having their way after the way they smashed around T20 style as well.
You got the good stuff?
Right. Pardon?
You got the good stuff now?
I've got the
votes?
good stuff, and if we've got good stuff, that means that we're handing out the votes. How many votes? Yeah, that's exactly right. 3 votes. All right, I want to give out some votes. Footy is back. Simple as that. We're back. Lace Out's back. The beautiful listeners are back. Can't ask for much more than that. What I love is the debutants. They're starting to get those debutante videos coming out. Who's going to be playing their first game? Really looking forward to it, J-Dog. I don't know how many...
Do you care about that stuff, though? Do you really care about the videos? I mean, let's just...
It's not the videos.
If you got picked in the top 20, you're playing the first game.
No, I don't. It's not about that, J-Dog. It's more like when... It's like when you play your first senior game, right? My first senior game for East Keilor was in 1995 against Moonee Valley.
Fake, though, Peps.
Kicked a goal, got knocked out. Right?
It feels ingenuine to me.
Yeah, but it means something special. So for these guys getting their first game, it's awesome. I like to see it.
It feels ingenuine.
Right? Oh, well,
they got a GoPro on them. They're getting recorded. Oh, it's all like Dad's first call, but it's all.
You're such a sourpuss.
Oh, it's just yeah. I've seen too many pets. I've seen so many of them now over the last 12 years. I'm just like bored.
Okay. Maybe they need like a strippogram or someone do it via, those signs they play, the Sky Riders. Maybe they could do that. Just something different. Put it on a billboard.
The only one I liked, I think it was one of the Collingwood boys. He called his mum or his dad, and they basically said, you're not that good, are you?
I appreciate that. I like it. Yeah. Stop being Jolly Michael. Stop being a party pooper, J-Dog. Well, I had to work with him for 4 years. He's a party pooper, right? Just don't sit me in with a roll of sticky tape. Otherwise, your face is going to end up looking like a mummy. All right. Show Me the Money too. I don't know if anyone got a chance to watch the first series last year, the first doco. This year, awesome again too, just to see the trade week, just opening our eyes, seeing a little bit behind the Grundy trade, Jason Horne-Francis, all that sort of jazz as well too. So great work by the Stand people rolling that one out. And I've really got to give a heads up to the other 3 tests in the Indian series because that was absolutely awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one I want to give to is Gather Round. How
don't,
good
Robert,
is
don't
Gather
talk
Round?
about it.
No, I want to talk about
I'm not going to be here for it.
Well, that's your issue, mate. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to Bali, Peps. You and I were going to go to Adelaide.
We were going to Adelaide for Gather Round.
You and I were talking about booking flights in. I just thought I'd run the dates past the missus.
Yep.
And she goes, we're in Bali. And I was like,
Bali. I might meet you on the way. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But yeah, I think Gather Round, it's going to be awesome. All 8 games in Adelaide, and I think all the games bar one are pretty much sold out. So that just means that there's a hunger, and it's going to work. I'm really, really...
It's going to be so good.
And then they've got Live Golf in Adelaide as well too. So my goodness, finally Adelaide have got something to hold their hat up on since probably the 1985 Formula One Grand Prix. It hasn't been much.
Can't wait for all the grandstands to get there. Oh, it's dirty money, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, stuff that. Tell me the PGA isn't under dirty money. And that, look, it's not a golf podcast, but it's amazing. Live, do it, and then PGA follow up. So go Live. Rightio. J-Dog.
Are you looking forward to Gather Round, though? Seriously? You looking forward to it?
I'm actually looking forward to it.
Are you going to try and get over there?
There's no point. There's no tickets. There's no tickets. I'm thinking of maybe going to Port Adelaide, Melbourne.
Surely
I had a chat to the Portress guys.
Yeah, someone get your ticket.
Yeah, the Portress guys said go over. So might go over with the kids, J-Dog.
Ooh.
Yep, go over to Adelaide with the kids to the Adelaide Oval and take them around take a tour of the churches.
That won't be annoying at all.
No, it won't be annoying at all. All right. I reckon we should maybe get our ladders going. What do you reckon?
Yep, done. I'm good to go. I'm strapped in.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we've promised our ladders
Yep.
for season 2023. Now, I want to just put this in context, all right? So we've picked top eights, and we've picked, obviously, who's going to be missing out. Now,
Top eights play finals, yeah, Peps.
Pardon?
Top eights play finals, yeah?
That's it. The top eight is to play finals.
Okay,
all right, top eight's to play finals. Now, top four will literally be anyone in that top four, if that makes sense.
Right.
All right. Then you got the bottom four underneath that, and then everybody else. Okay, so we've tried to work it out in such a way that the bottom teams are going to be obviously down towards the bottom, who are crappy.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I know what I'm trying to say. All right, let's just go from there. All right, Charlie Keegan, you're going to hate me. All right, so why don't we do it this way, J-Dog? Do you want to start from the bottom and work your way up?
Oh, yep. We can do that.
All right, or do you want to start at the top?
No, I'll start at the bottom. Start
at the bottom. All right. 18th position.
What do you got?
Hawks.
Okay, I got North.
Okay, North. I think North are going to surprise a few this year. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 17th, I've got the Bombers.
Ooh, I got the Giants.
Okay, interesting. All right. I've got the Kangas at 16th. The only reason, look, I went with Bombers. They just got way too many injuries at the moment.
Okay,
and I went that sort of transition period. They're in a bit of no man's land. Yeah, you went Essendon 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Kangaroos I've got in 16th, just for the fact that I think Clarkson they're better than a 2-game winning team, and just I saw enough in the pre-season game to see that there is a bit of a shift. It will take a bit more time, but bringing in those 2 young kids at 2 and 3 is going to make a big thing for them as well too. So and I think the Clarkson factor will add something to them as well too.
For me, Suns.
Yep. Oh, Suns in 16th.
Mm-hmm. No, we're at 15th.
Suns at 15th. Wow. Okay. They won 10 games last year, J-Dog.
Don't care. It's as simple as that. I just don't care.
Ben King back. Don't care?
No, don't care.
Right, fair enough. All right. Well, I'm going with GWS. I think Adam Kingsley is going to make a bit of a difference. I just don't trust them. And I don't trust the team I've got in 14th either, which is the Eagles. They're better than a 2-game winning team. I think they're going to have a full preseason. Apparently, they're in ripping nick. Just don't rate them at the moment.
Yep, I've got. I'm going to have Hawthorn for mine.
Okay, all right. So you're looking at a bit of a rise for the Hawks this year.
No, Hawthorn was 13th last year.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little bit of a drop.
All right. 12th, I've got the Suns. And I didn't want to put them 12th, but when you have a look at the teams that I've got at 12, 11, 10, and 9, they could be in any one of these spots. This is where I'm saying it gets flip of the coin percentage bits at the moment.
Okay, and in my 12th?
Yep.
Port.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How and why?
Just I know we can't take much away from preseason, but I'm looking at the preseason games going, it's the same issues. It's the same issues.
You saw a bit of Motley Crue, did you?
I just saw the
same old situation.
Shit.
It's the same old. That could be every time we bring in a Port conversation, we'll just play that for you. It's the same old.
Oh, God.
Same old situation.
Port to finish 12th and Hinkley to go. That's it.
You're hanging for that, aren't you? You are.
No, I'm not hanging for someone who's their job, but I'm.
No, but you've been trying to get rid of Hinkley since 2018.
Oh, I thought I'd turn on to the preseason games and watch something different, but I just hadn't.
Yeah. Port Adelaide. Sometimes a little good. Sometimes a little bit shit. I think that exactly puts it into perspective. I think the Saints. I actually tipped the Saints when I did my preseason previews, and I spoke to Jake Petoni from Saints TV. I said I actually put the Saints into the 8, and then ever since I said that, I think 3/4 of their team got injured, so I couldn't keep them there. There's just going to be too many injuries. I think one of the big rises this year is going to be the Crows, and I've got the Crows in 11th simply because their forward line is going to be one of the best rolling around. When you've got a forward line of Fogarty, Thilthorpe, Tex is still going to be floating around, and then you've got Rankin and Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a nightmare matchup for any back line. Their midfield is going to be just a little bit stronger another year. Their back line still a bit suspect, but that forward line is going to cause problems for teams around about the mark as well too.
Yep, and just as an ultimate insult, I've got Adelaide finishing the same as you
above
Port, just to rub that.
All
You're
right.
in.
Who have you got in 10th?
Carlton.
Carlton in 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They only missed out by literally a goal from
half
making
or something.
finals.
Yeah, point something other.
Fake Port fan.
I just don't see the shock and awe that we all faced last year with them. I think this year they're going to come back to ground a little bit.
Yep. You reckon it's going to hit them?
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough. I pretty much, I reckon, agree with you on that one. I pretty much agree. I've got Collingwood.
Okay.
I'm just not.
So you're saying going to fall out? Okay.
Here's why.
You reckon they can't run again like what they did?
No. I don't think they were lucky. They got themselves in that position. So you've got to give them, props for that. It's not going to happen 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Is my mic okay, J-Dog? I just changed my mic. Is it okay?
It's fine now. You can go fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I had to change my mic. I had a bit of an issue. And you have a look at the other teams above them, who they've brought in, their match winners. This is coming exactly from the Collingwood guys. The Collingwood guys from the Collingwood rant haven't even picked them to finish in the 8. Like, that's their own Collingwood blokes. They've picked up McStay, Mitchell, Bobby Hill, and Frampton. They're not exactly going to set the world on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And don't have a forward line that scares anyone, in my humble opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Their midfield's pretty good, and their back line's okay.
Yep.
So I don't know whether they're going to get the second-year Blues teams are going to work them out. And I just think, they were 3 games off missing finals. So they won 10 games under a goal or whatever. They lose. If they had lost 3 of those,
yeah,
they don't make finals.
No.
Right? That was last year. And I just don't think you can't have a run that good 2 years in a row. Plus, they're going to have a harder draw as well. All right. Can I go with 9th?
Yes.
And I might have people not even follow this podcast anymore after I announce my 9th. Richmond.
Okay.
Okay. They've got a good set of kids. Hopper and Taranto are going to be good, serviceable players in the midfield for them. Okay. But my issue with them is Dusty's not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
Cochin's not getting any younger. Prestia's not getting any younger. Rewalt's not getting any younger. And they had a pretty good run with injuries. And the problem with Richmond is that they're never able to get their best team on the park at once in the last couple of years. There's always 1, 2, 3 guns out. Those guns are another couple of years older. And I think they're going to struggle to make it.
I'm not there yet.
I'm there. There's nothing. I've watched their preseason games, and there's nothing to indicate to me that they're going to be any stronger than they were last year.
Yeah, but last year was still going for 7th and inside the 8 by a game and a bit.
By a game and a bit.
All right, I've got Carlton.
Okay.
9th. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. I got St Kilda as 9th. Sorry.
St Kilda as 9th as well too. All right. Interesting. All right, let's go into the top 8.
Same as you, Peps. Just injuries,
Yep.
And they have brought the Messiah back though, Pep. So that's going to be good for them.
Who's that?
Ross Lyon's back.
Oh, Ross the boss. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Lenny Hayes or Kevin Goddard, or wouldn't be surprised if the old Pretzel King ends up getting a game for them by the end of the year. But they're going to be missing Max King for the first X amount of weeks of the season as well too. So once again, have you seen their injury list? They've got more players injured than they've got available. They're almost like the West Coast of 2023. That's how bad it is.
That's right.
All right. Who have you got in 8th?
Do I have to have 8th, or I've just got a bit of a crap show here? I can pick an 8 if you want me to. I've just got people in the 8, but not in a particular order.
Let's do it this way. Let's go. Who's outside of your top 4 in any order? Does that make sense? So your top 4 you've got. You have to have a top 4. Okay, so in the top 8, and if you take away the top 4, there's 4 teams left over. Okay, it's basic mathematics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Who have you got?
I have got Western Bulldogs.
Yep.
I've got outside the top 4, I've got the Dockers.
Yep.
I have got Collingwood.
Yep.
And I've got Sydney Swans.
Interesting, because I have, but I've got them in my order.
Okay.
I've got your mob finishing 5th.
Okay.
I have the Bulldogs finishing 6th.
Okay.
Because if the Mega Towers turn it on down forward, boom shakalaka, good luck
Yeah.
to the doggies. But as soon as that ball goes to ground, there's going to be no chase.
Yep.
So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And at the moment, they don't. I've then got the Blues in 7th.
Okay. You're riding the blue wave.
I'm riding the blue wave. I think another year under Voss, another year with that game plan. They bring in Akers. Walsh is unfortunately going to be out for a bit. Zach Williams is going. That's a real travesty because when I spoke to Terry Degani from Blue Abroad, we were talking about one of my rises for this year is going to be Zach Williams. He's going to have a breakout. He's had a great preseason, and then that weekend
The next day.
So, but I just think that when you've got Mackay and Curnow in the forward line, when you've got DeConing and Wiedering down back, and you've got that massive unit, the Brownlow medalist, Crippy in the middle, you just need a bit more extra from people like Kennedy, Chera, these guys, and they make finals.
If
I don't think they're top four.
If he says has the season that he had the season before,
yep,
yeah, I get it. I get you.
And then I've got the Dockers in 8th.
Okay.
Still a bit suspect when it comes to their forward line, but if Fife spends more time down there, he's going to make it a bit hard because he's not exactly a small unit.
No.
And the Darcy-Jackson ruck combination will end up being probably one of the best towards the end of the year.
Okay.
So that means we've got top 4.
We have.
All right. Let's go from 4th. Who have you got?
Richmond.
I'm going with Geelong.
Okay.
I think they're going to slide a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they did slide out of the 4, but I'm looking at who's underneath and like the way they finished off the season and they picked up 4 first-rounders this year. Like that's got goodness written all over them too. But Hawkins looks like he might be out for a couple of maybe the early stages of the season. Not too sure. So they can either stay the same or go completely backwards. Father Time might catch up and the retirement home might be making some phone calls towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
3rd spot, I've got Sydney.
Okay.
Yep. Who we got?
I've got Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just think that I think they're still, like last year was 1 year. I think let's not write off a premiership in the last couple of years. Yep. They're still there. There.
I'm a little bit Sydney-wise. I know the record books say that you don't rate a team that gets smashed in a grand final. Sydney have got the best young kids in the league. And if there's one coach that will get them back on track, it is definitely going to be Johnny Longmire. All right. I've got Melbourne 2nd.
Okay.
Just simply, they needed some, Jackson goes, they needed some extra goodness. What did they do? They go out and get Brody Grundy, helps out Jackson. Helps out Gawn. They needed somebody on the other wing. They brought in Lockie Hunter. At the moment, that looks like it's going to work, and they're running more kids through the midfield. Tom McDonald is at full fitness, and if you have a look where Melbourne's season fell over last year, it was when Tom McDonald went over. So if they can keep healthy, get more people running through the midfield, they are going to be in a beautiful position for a top 2, potentially top 4 finish. That means we've got one team left, and I think we've got
I've got Brisbane.
Oh, okay. You've got Brisbane. All right. Okay. Well, that means I've got Brisbane at first, and that means you've got
Cats.
You're going the Cats. So you think the Cats can go back to back?
Back to back again. Yeah.
Back to back. All right. So from a Brownlow medal perspective, if we're not into gambling here, gamble responsibly. Yep. Have you got anyone for the Brownlow medal at this stage? I know it's early to look at, but if you have a look at the record from last year and have a look where everybody sort of placed within the Brownlow,
yep,
it was Cripps, Neil, Touk Miller, Clayton Oliver, Petrarca. Like it was the same names as you would expect. I'm actually going with Christian Petrarca.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, he's been up there for 3 years now in a row.
Okay. Here's my reasoning behind it. The only thing that lets him down from winning one probably last year
was his goalkeeping. Okay. Okay.
I think he kicked something like 16 goals, 30.
Yeah.
You turn that into 30 goals, 16, those ones come into twos, those twos go into threes.
Yep.
And he's close to winning it. So he just looks cherry ripe. His preseason form was looking awesome as well too, which is a real shame because when you got Clary Oliver sitting there running around, it's like, what do? You got Cheech and Chong running around. One gets one, the other gets. If one doesn't dominate, the other one does.
Yep.
I would have gone Tuke Miller as well, but with his hamstring, you know what it's like when you have hamstrings early on in the season. No good. So I'm just not being favourable. The only other one I could probably think of, and I know I've thrown a few in there, but he is actually from Brisbane, but it's not Lachie Neale. I think Josh Dunkley, if it all clicks, could be a massive chance. Winning teams, and he gets a lot of the ball, and he did all right last year in the Brownlow as well too. So, yeah.
I'm going to go. I just think the support around it's either going to be, and it's going to be a back-to-back winner. It's either going to be Cripps or it's going to be a Dangerfield.
Okay. Sorry if I fall off my couch, which I'm not even sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Did you just say Cripps is going to go back-to-back?
Potentially.
Okay.
Even though I've got him finishing in 10th, I think last year helped a lot the fact they were just missing out in the finals. Who's going to take votes off Cripps in that team? If they have another year like they do, which I'm not predicting they are, who's taking votes off him?
Well, the only ones I could see them taking.
He stands out. He literally.
Walsh isn't playing for the first probably.
When he gets the ball, it's like this aura, like when you turn to like Super Mario when you hit the star.
Yep.
He just gets this aura, and it just becomes unmissable. You cannot not watch him.
So the only other one that will take votes off him is Curnow. He's the only other one that I think could take votes off him because there's not really anybody else that really stands out from them as well too. And if you have a look at the Brownlow from last year as well too, from a Carlton perspective, it was Cripps and I think it was Daylight being Walsh.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much behind it. So you might actually have something there. Andrew Brayshaw's come in from Jolie Michael. He reckons it's a lock. Well, if Fremantle might end up finishing 8th.
Could be. Sensational preseason. So, yep.
I reckon he's got something there. How about we just go an Oliver, Track, Brayshaw.
3-way.
4-way.
4-way?
Yeah, 4-way.
Never been seen before in the...
Never been seen 4-way. Who was the other one? And you said Dangerfield.
Yep.
You'll be lucky to get a game by the end of the year.
I know, but we know it's not a boys' club.
Oh, sorry.
Geelong. Who's going to take votes off Dangerfield this year in the centre?
Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, true, but Jeremy Cameron's in the forward line.
Jeremy Cameron. Jeremy Cameron ended up with a decent number of votes last year anyway in the Brownlow. So
he did, but I'm going to say it's a midfielder's medal. It's a midfielder's
It is a midfielder's medal. But what isn't a
and I can't go Jeremy Cameron because he's in my next segment.
So you're going the Coleman, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Jamie, who are you going for the Coleman?
I'm going for Jeremy Cameron. Peps, glad you asked.
Oh, fantastic. So Jeremy Coleman. Jeremy Coleman.
Coleman.
How many goals are you going to kick too? I didn't ask you this, but what have you got sitting on the back of your mind? How many is he going to kick?
81.
Okay. Well, I'm
Please say Ben Brown. I mean, why not?
No,
You've done Melbourne every other segment.
I won't say Ben Brown. I like Cameron. I think it might be Charlie Curnow. I think he might go back-to-back Colemans.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I just think there's something about him. He can play small. He can play tall. He can do anything.
He's good. He's that good.
And I reckon he's a massive chance. Lee Mossie's joined us. Oh, my old former neighbour living over there in Perth. Great to have you on the potty, big fella. He's gone Jake Stringer. And so Lee might be banned for the rest of the year. All right, so that means that we've got one left. Grand finalists and Premier, J-Dog. Who have you selected as your grand finalists and your Premier for 2023?
I'm going to go... I'm going to go Melbourne, and that is two things. One, I like to see you have a bit of joy, and a grand final will be good to see again for you.
Yep. Live, you mean? Live?
Oh, yeah, you'll go to live. Yep, why not? I would love to see you go to a live game of football to watch your team win a grand final. So I'm going for that. because my team's not going to make the finals this year.
Yep.
And I think that's the reason why I'm going to go from. There's no other. There's no ground. There's no meters gained. There's no athletes as footballers. It's just I want your team to win, and I want to see the joy on your face.
Oh, I'll go nude again. Jolly Michael will be nude with me. Look, I'm going for, and I'm being a bit biased here, I am going for a Melbourne-Brisbane grand final. Okay. Mm-hmm. But because I don't want to pick Melbourne because that's too obvious, if they get everything right between the ears, there is no reason why Brisbane can't win it. My concern, though, J-Dog, is have they got it all between their ears?
Yeah.
And can Danaher and Hipwood win you a flag? I don't know. But when you bring in Dunkley, Dunstan, Ashcroft, and Fletcher into that lineup, and you also remember Connor McKenna as well.
Yeah, but their forward line sort of just stresses me out in big games.
Yep, but they've got Charlie. Just never forget Charlie. So I'm going Brisbane to beat Melbourne in a grand final.
Yeah.
But if it went the other way, hey, I wouldn't care. Anything can happen on the day. As long as we don't get coxed, that's all right. All righty. Hey, J-Dog, we're about to wrap this bad boy up, but we've got 1 week at a time. And everybody knows, look, 1 week at a time is what we do when we're thinking about what game this week are we looking at. Now, we're going to be back for Tipped Out, first Tipped Out for the season as well, too. So we'll have our tips and who we're going to go with in our Tipped Out show. So stay tuned for that. But just from an early 1 week at a time, what game are you looking forward to this week? And if you've got more than one, pick it out and why.
I'm going to go. My game of the round is going to be Giants and Adelaide Crows.
Ooh, okay. Interesting one. Okay. How and why?
How and why? I think Adelaide are going to improve this year.
Yep.
And there's nothing better than seeing a Ferrari on blocks, mate.
The Ferrari's gone, mate. Don't worry about the Ferrari.
It's a gutted shell, and I want to just see it. No, honestly, look, give that game a bit of love. It's a Sunday Arvo game.
Sunday Arvo game.
No, I really am looking forward to first game.
Nice, I love it. Me, I'm actually going with. I've actually got two. Funny enough, one of them's your mob, Port Adelaide versus Brisbane.
Okay.
Because I want to see Port Adelaide in every right should win this. Should win this. It's at home. It's at 4:35. You love playing in the graveyard shift.
On Saturday. Calm down.
But still, it's all right. It's the premier graveyard shift against the Brisbane Lions that will be hungry.
It's twilight, mate.
So if you can win that, cracking game. The other one, funny enough, is earlier in the day at 1:45 p.m. at Marvel Stadium, North versus West Coast. Two teams that had 2 wins each last year. North under the new coach, West Coast who apparently rejuvenated. Outside of all the blockbuster games that are occurring, that's the other one I like.
Okay.
And just have a bit of an interest in. I'm also having a look at Hawthorn Essendon as well too, just because of what we've spoken about. Will Hawthorn really will they peak again? What's Essendon going to do? It's a little bit like Drive to Survive, that beautiful Netflix show. We don't worry about the stuff that's happening at the front of the grid with all the top 4. It's the stuff that happens between probably slots 5 to
the end.
12.
Yeah.
That's where all the magic happens, and that's what we want to see too. But all right, mate, I'll tell you what, footy is in a good spot. We kick it off on Thursday night with the Tigers and Carlton. It's going to be a bumper season, mate. It's going to be a massive lace-out season, and I can't wait. Wait for everybody to join us. Now, a couple of last things before we finish off. First of all, if you want to sponsor a segment, drop us a message. If you want to sponsor Spin and the Magnets, if you're a magnet company, you want to sponsor us, please go ahead. If you're a pharmaceuticals company, you want to look after the injury segment, please be our guest. If you want to sponsor the show as a whole, on our intro, on the actual feed right now, on every segment, this one, Tipped Out, drop us a message on our email address. You can find that on our Facebook page, and we'll have a bit of a chat too, because a couple of people have reached out, and I thought I'd open up to everybody. So if you or know somebody that wants to get your name up in lights regularly through the AFL season, give us a buzz. And just one other thing, for all the Essendon supporters, I just want you to remember one thing, that it's been 6,744 days since you've won a final.
Best final ever, though.
Best final ever. That's it. Show 1 done, J-Dog. We'll be back for Tipped Out. But before we go, big fella, I have to ask you that beautiful question we ask every week to finish off the show, and it's simply this. Jamie the J-Dog Wallis, the greatest co-host ever. Great to have you back. How do you want your footy?
I want it lace out.
Have a great week, listeners, and good luck to your team.
Tell us what you think. Top 8, Coleman, Premiership. Drop us in the comments.
List the question.
YouTube, Facebook, whatever streams you're using. Use all the community.
OnlyFans, you name it, we've got it.
Give us some feedback.
Have a great week, listeners. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Lace Out. Head over to iTunes and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. And remember, join us every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, on our Facebook page with yours truly, Christopher Pepper, and the co-host with the most, Jamie Wallis, giving you your footy how you want it. Lace out.